hours out from seeing the Avengers: Infinity War, and I am thrilled. I thought this thing was really, really, really good. And you saw it. When did you see this thing? You saw this last week, right?
Yeah, last week, saw it about a week ago, and yeah, I've been dying for you to see it so we could talk about it. Now we can finally talk about it.
Well,
it's a
funny.
Skype call again, but you know.
Yeah, exactly. I had this thing going on with MoviePass, and it just wasn't working out, so I just had to go ahead and pre-buy tickets. Ended up
that's one thing. Just you have to actually be at the theater, and you know, especially with the theater selling out with this thing. It's crossed. I think today they announced that it's crossing $1 billion worldwide this weekend. So it's hard to find a seat in the theater.
Yeah, no, it's insane. I was looking at just a couple days ago for trying to go today. Actually, I was looking to go Friday and today, and I see the seats filling up. I'm looking at my AMC app. I'm like, dude.
I know.
You got to carve something out for a MoviePass guy, right? But no.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I could not wait for my MoviePass the weekend I saw it. I had to buy the tickets like a couple days in advance because they were just going way too fast.
Honestly, I might as well have, because I ended up breaking down, and actually I bought the Dolby tickets, and wow. I mean,
Dolby, man. Whew, that is.
Is that what you saw it in too, or you saw it?
No, I didn't get to see it in that because that was way too full, and I wanted to see it in early. But yeah, I wasn't able to do that. But yeah, Dolby is.
What? So did you do a classic band 11:45?
No. I saw it Friday early morning. So and there's Falcon right there. I saw it Friday early morning.
That's right. Yeah, because we recorded last Thursday our 2 episodes for the week. We've got one coming out still on Monday. An episode of which I still need to edit, by the way. So I'll get that done tomorrow.
Oh, you see that, folks? We got some problems here in Dave's schedule.
Well, I hope you guys enjoy the Annihilation episode. I really liked that movie, and I really like talking about that movie with you.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was good. That's a good movie to dive deep into. Those kind of movies with those different themes and stuff. But
coming out Monday is what?
Logan. Logan. You would know if you had edited it. So
if I had been there for the episode, there might be something in my mind that would tell me that the show that I did just a few days ago. But yeah, that's coming out Monday. We were both really excited for this movie. I have to admit too, is I've been calling you a nerd, insulting you. And now look at me here. We were just on prep here. We were talking about the movies. This is number 19, right? In the MCU Marvel.
Yep, number 19
universe. I think I've seen all of them. I can't think of one that I actually haven't seen. So, wow.
Yeah, you've been. It seems like you've been more into it this past week than even I have. Yeah, you've been catching up on all the movies and everything like that, and I'm liking it. Finally,
yeah, I got around.
You're smart. You're finally realizing the way to live. With movies.
You were there. I was an idiot, and I was very stupid, and I came over the bridge to you, and or you were all along and just waiting for me.
There you go. Exactly. Yeah. So you were smart now and no longer dumb.
But yeah, I rewatched Doctor Strange. That one, I had a weird relationship with that movie. The first time I saw it, it was just like in an afternoon, random sleepy afternoon. I think I fell asleep through parts of it. Never got back to it. And then a couple weeks ago, I rewatched it and loved every second of that film.
And it's an important one, I'd say, to have saw. Yeah, I think it would definitely, with this Infinity War, I think it definitely adds to your. I don't think it's necessarily a necessity to have seen it, but it definitely adds to the flavor of the movie because he plays a big part in this.
Yeah, I think it'd be odd to. I mean, I hate to say that you have to, these requirements to have seen all of these movies. I don't like to say that, but. If you don't know, I mean, most people know Benedict Cumberbatch is, but if you don't know him as Doctor Strange and really what motivates the character and what he's kind of all about, I hate to say, you kind of have to have seen the movie at least get a sense of the character, But yeah, I rewatched Captain America: Civil War, and I said to you just a couple days ago, wow, and then Black Panther. Those two movies are almost direct sequels of each other in a sense.
Right,
They take place within days of one another.
Yeah.
So I watched both of those again. And Civil War, I guess I really didn't give a fair shake to the first time around. I think when we talked before, I said, yeah. Saw it again, really liked it. Saw Black Panther, I liked it. I got some problems with it, but that's not a big deal for now. But all these movies sort of those those movies, and then let's see, I saw Thor 3 Ragnarok, which is just
Yeah.
fantastic. I mean, I
Yeah, I
wouldn't even
love
mind
that,
doing a
man.
whole episode on
Yeah,
Ragnarok.
I went and watched that again, even after watching Infinity War. Because I've seen it twice now, actually, Infinity War, and the second time I saw it, I went back and watched Ragnarok because this Thor plays a big part in this Infinity War, and I think seeing him in Ragnarok made me, appreciate him more, and then seeing him in this, like he's one of my favorite Avengers now. After these last two movies.
Oh, me
Um,
too. I love so you've seen Infinity War twice or
yeah, I saw it
Ragnarok?
twice. I saw it the Friday with my wife, and then I took my son to see it on Saturday.
Uh, you're amazing. Good for you. Yeah,
I
but
know, and I want to see it again in theaters
I can see
before it's
seeing it
out.
again. I don't know what the running time was. It was
It's like 2 hours and 40 minutes.
yeah, it's a long one, but it didn't
It's a
feel
long.
that long.
I didn't feel the length at all. I know you had said you had some beverages during, and then that might have made you feel the length.
Oh yeah,
Due
the
to
soda made me want to urinate really bad.
Yes.
Actually, I missed the end. I missed the end credits. I could not. I was bursting. So
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
how do we want to handle spoilers generally for this episode, and then how do we
Well,
want to?
let's just give our general thoughts real quick on the movie, things we liked, things we didn't like,
Okay.
and then we'll give a spoiler warning and get into that. So yeah, first, I mean, so what stood out to you in this movie? What did you like about it?
Well,
Let's start with the positive.
yeah, no, absolutely. Before I say that, I want to absolutely agree with you. Just to go back a couple minutes when you were talking about Thor. After seeing Ragnarok, wow, I love Thor. I love everything he's about. He is my favorite Avenger. I just
Yeah.
absolutely love Thor.
Seriously, yeah, he's
He's
great.
the best. He's just so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just want to say that. And of course, he was in this movie, but there's just something about this character. I love him. I just love the guy.
Love him so much.
No, it was
yeah.
perfect. But Thor Ragnarok, if you have not seen that one, that's like a must watch. But yeah, Infinity War. Holy cow! For the first 30 minutes, my mind is blown. This movie takes you around a lot of different stories and all the entire universe. It basically spans, right? But this is we get my criticism with Age of Ultron was that the villain is just kind of lame and not really to be feared and to really worry about. Thanos is a legit villain. He is scary. He's worthy. He can destroy all of them. So that's just to start with that.
Yeah. No,
That,
I 100% agree, and I didn't think it would matter who played him, like because it's CGI and motion capture and all that. I did not think it would matter that much, but Josh Brolin killed it. Like,
Yeah, well
it
done.
definitely mattered. You could definitely see his actual acting. It wasn't just a cartoon or just a motion capture suit. Actually, I felt his performance, and
no. Yeah.
can't imagine anyone else in the role now. But yeah, I mean, this movie, everyone's going to be talking about Thanos. I mean, Thanos is the highlight of this movie for me. I mean, obviously, Thor's a huge highlight. A lot of the characters are highlights, but he is the main focus point. And I just love the motivations of Thanos. Not that I agree with him, but you understand him.
Yeah.
I love that aspect, and that's what you want to see in a villain. And I think that's what all the great villains are ones that you can, understand where they're coming from. They might not be right, but you you get them,
Exactly. I mean, even I remember praising Loki in an episode or two ago, and Loki seems like small potatoes compared to Thanos.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, this is big time threat here, and I just really like that. So right away, you are feeling something new here, something different, something more real. This isn't just like we're gonna do like a quick solve this problem and then we're gonna have a happy ending. That's not the case in this movie. This is a legit threat to everyone, and it happens so. And I think we get some real filmmaking here that I don't know that we always get in these kinds of movies. And I think we praise Joss Whedon for bringing these characters together, but I think this exceeds the first Avengers in a lot of ways. You get real tension in this movie. You get real there's that scene. I don't think this is giving away too many spoilers. We end up in the Doctor Strange's place in New York City, and they're sort of in that building.
Right.
And then they hear things going on outside, and the movie makes you wait to find out what's happening. You know what I'm talking about,
Right.
right? They're
Yep.
like,
Yep.
what is that?
Exactly.
You're screaming, you hear banging, and then they open the doors, and then you look outside, and then it's sort of this, terrible thing
Yeah,
happening.
you're kind of in it with the characters at that moment.
Exactly.
They kind of feel it and they hear it, and then they go walk out, and we see it with them. So
Yes.
yeah, that's good stuff right there. And there's even some like, well, I'll get into it more in the when we talk about spoilers, but there's like, it's almost some spots almost seem like an art house film.
Yeah.
Like there's a couple shots where I'm like, man, they're getting really artsy with this, but like in a good way.
Yeah,
And
I mean, you get the violins going, you get different shots, different camera angles. This doesn't feel like it's $1 billion movie, as you said in the beginning, but it does. In some ways, it doesn't. The way it was made in bits and pieces here, you get a little bit for film lovers like us to take away those little nuggets. So I thought that was outstanding. Wow.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I mean, obviously Thanos was a huge highlight there, the filmmaking, and I just love I love each character's introduction, how they brought each character into the movie. Nothing seemed forced; it was all just kind of it organically, kind of just came about. That's
I like that.
Something that I liked a lot. Yeah, I mean, and I feel like there was enough time spent with each character. I mean, with a movie like this with so many characters, it's hard to, spend enough time and get the time you want with the characters you love. And I didn't feel that I was cheated, slighted by not seeing my favorite characters at all. I feel like we got a good amount of time with all the characters, good pacing in the movie. It was like I said, 2 hours 40-minute movie. Didn't feel like a 2 hour 40-minute movie for me. I mean, it's the pacing of the movie and just you're in it the whole time. You're wanting to know what's happening next, and I was never bored in the movie.
Yeah,
which is what you want in any action movie.
No, 100%. I could not agree more. I mean, and even the humor, almost every joke landed for me. And I mean, where we start off, where we are, we move over to Earth, and then by the way, hey, there's the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, like I said, I love everyone's introduction.
I like
their introduction is great.
It's amazing. Yeah, you get the best. Yeah. You get the best of all of these characters. There's none of the. There's even you get some bloat, which you're going to get in a 2 hour and 40-minute movie with all of these characters. I mean, you're going to Wakanda, out in space. You're going to New York City, going all over the place. But it's really there's not a lot of fat to trim on this movie.
Yeah, it's just crazy that you can feel the dynamic in all the characters. Like a lot of these characters, or these actors, they casted like. One, obviously Robert Downey Jr. was cast back in 2008, and Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth through 2011. It's just like, and then you had the Guardians of the Galaxy actors in 2014. Like how they knew like everyone was gonna just work together so well and have such chemistry on screen is just amazing.
Well, I think that's like the ultimate question. Just to put everything aside just for a second, is just to say, could this movie occur on its own? Maybe not. I don't think so. That's the question. How much is this movie really building, jumping on the shoulders of a giant or something like that? Or is it doing its own thing? It's a little bit of both, I would say, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could watch it because what the bad guy, who the bad guy is in a movie, who your heroes are. The bad guy, what he wants to do. So, I mean, I guess, in general, people could probably watch this without having seen any of them and get what's happening. They just might not feel that emotional weight that, people who have seen all the rest of the movies, who've gotten to know these characters, would feel.
But I think it would be okay. Even so, though, even just thinking about it, because every character hits that note perfectly, right? Thor hits his note. The Guardians of the Galaxy hit that note, and that's really a credit to the directors, who are Anthony and Joe Russo, the Russo brothers. They did Civil War, or at least Anthony did. I'm looking here on IMDb. They did Captain America. The
Russo brothers. I actually just learned today that they did a couple episodes of Arrested Development.
I saw the same
directed.
Thing,
I had no idea. And there's actually an Easter egg in regards to Arrested Development, which I'll say in the spoiler review because
is it Tobias Funke?
Yes, yeah, the Tobias all in blue. I don't want to say where it is because that might be a spoiler, but yeah,
Okay. Oh,
it's
I
funny.
don't
But yeah,
know.
Russo brothers.
Wow.
Go ahead.
No, no, no. I had no idea of this. This is actually a spoiler for me. So.
Okay. Yeah, the Russo brothers. They did. I think some of the best Marvel movies right now. I mean, obviously the two Captain Americas, Winter Soldier, and Civil War, and then now this. I mean,
So you can see
they
why then, because Black Panther and Captain America are so intertwined that would be included in this movie. I mean, that seems like a natural outgrowth. Although there wasn't a lot of Steve Rogers in this, so.
yeah, that's one thing. Yeah, there wasn't too much Captain America.
How did you feel about the beard and the hair and the whole get up? I have to say I wasn't a big fan of Captain America in this.
Really?
Yeah, he just I don't really care for Captain America. I think that's where I am now. I mean, I liked Civil War,
yeah.
but because I agreed with him. He was correct in the end. I mean, his instincts were right. I mean, we shouldn't sign ourselves
Right.
over to this entity, this outside entity that can dictate, where our comings and goings and our ability to solve problems and all that. So I agreed with him on that, but the guy just irritates me.
Too much of a goody two shoes.
Yeah, he really is. And now he's like,
He
I
really
don't want to
is.
call him emo, but he's like in all black. He's got the long hair.
Yeah,
He's
he's
got
got a
the
beard, but he's a fugitive at this point. You know, he's on the run. So
Well, what are they
whatever.
gonna do? I mean,
I liked his look. You know, you a guy with a beard. You know, you'd think you'd appreciate.
Well,
that.
I've got
You'd be
more
like,
of a
oh,
Thor look,
join the
though.
club.
I got more of a Thor look. I got the beard and the short hair.
Oh
you
yeah,
know?
yeah. You look just like Thor. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's,
Well, yeah. I mean, where do you think they got the idea from?
he's imitating my voice. That was good. I
Well,
love
that
the
was
dynamic.
great. How good is Chris Pratt here? Hilarious, right?
Chris Pratt is great because I wasn't. I love Guardians, the first one, but the Guardians 2, I wasn't a huge fan of. But then so I kind of had a bad taste in my mouth with the Guardians. But
Okay.
then they came in this movie and totally killed it, and I fell back in love with with those characters.
I'm in love.
Uh,
I've been in love, and all the tastes were sweet. Every taste
Yeah.
of the Guardians, I love. I have to say. So that's great. I mean, what
Yeah.
is it? Was it the Kurt Russell story?
Yeah, the
or-
Kurt Russell one. Yeah, I don't know. Just it almost seemed too jokey. I kind of don't like what they turned the character of Drax into. Like he's only comedy, the comedic relief. Where in the first one he had an actual, emotional arc and things like that. But
He was hilarious in this one, though, right?
oh my God, so good. Who'd have thought Dave Bautista could be so funny?
He's great.
But yeah, this movie, I mean, it's kind of hard to talk just, general what we liked without just sounding cliche. I mean, this was an epic movie. I mean, it was so just outstanding, just
really was.
the
It's
execution of everything and
Yeah.
just, just such a fun movie, but at the same time emotional and tense and suspenseful. It's the whole package. And what did you find anything negative about this movie?
Honestly, not really. I mean, there's
Yeah.
some fluff here and there, but not enough to really get mad at. I really don't have a lot of bad things to say about this film. Its length is a part of what it is. So maybe generally I'd be like, this thing's a little too long, and maybe it was a little too long, but I knew what's going on. They're telling a large story.
Right.
This is movie number 19, and they're
Yeah,
doing
exactly.
their-
It's a
they're- yeah,
10-year build up to it.
exactly. And they're trying to include everyone, as much as possible. I mean, you get a Gwyneth Paltrow scene for 2 minutes, and then she's done.
Yeah.
I mean, you get these
Yep.
little bits here and there about, and the most important stuff is still there. There's no nonsensical sidetracks, I don't think. But
Right.
I think maybe the Wakanda stuff was a bit long here and there, but that was part of the final battle, so that was fine. So yeah, I don't
Yeah,
have a lot
I
of
mean-
bad things to say about this movie.
Honestly,
I was thrilled with it. This actually, I would say it has exceeded my expectations,
Yeah, yeah. I would,
especially from following up from Age of Ultron, which is really just kind of generic, not very
Right.
good. Now, after considering the first Avengers and then Age of Ultron and now Infinity War, I mean, you could just want to take that one down maybe even farther.
yeah, I can't find anything bad with the movie either. It's just yeah, maybe more I watch it, and as the years go on, I could maybe nitpick things here and there. But yeah, I mean, it's a really well-made movie. It's a total, and me, obviously being, bigger into comic book movies, I'd say, than you, obviously, and
being a nerd.
it even, yeah, exactly, being a nerd, it even exceeded my expectations, which were already high. I just love the way they ended the movie. Love just what they did with the movie. Just kind of blew my mind.
If there is
the
a
direction
weakness,
they went with.
yeah, if there is a weakness now that I'm thinking about it, is the knowledge that this movie is part one of part two. As the events are taking place on screen, knowing that, hey, this doesn't end here. There's going to be a second movie, especially the ending. That is sort of a weakness. Are you following me there?
It sort of takes away from.
Does that get into spoilers here? Do we want to?
Yeah, I mean, we might as well get into spoilers. People, you heard our general thoughts. Go see this movie if you haven't.
Oh, absolutely, go see it. Please go see it.
But those of you who have seen the movie, we're going to jump into spoilers now. If you haven't seen the movie, go ahead and go watch some of our other videos and listen to some more of our podcast. We are Blockbuster Mentality, Ben, Secord, and Davo. All right, yeah, spoilers. So yeah, the ending, obviously.
A lot of people died.
Yes, exactly. But obviously, we know a Black Panther sequel's coming. We know a Spider-Man sequel's coming. So there, even if this wasn't a part, we didn't know there was going to be a part two. That right there says, all right, these characters are going to come back. And the directors keep saying how, this isn't a part two. It is its own movie, or it's not a part one, because part two is actually going to be called something else. Like it's going to be Avengers something. They just haven't announced it yet because it might be a spoiler, I guess.
Is that just them saying that so that people don't get, onto their game? Because that's what it sounds like.
Maybe.
Well, we saw a lot of people die. Yeah, we saw Black Panther die. We saw... a lot of people.
Really, the only ones left are the original Avengers. Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, Hulk, and Black Widow. And then we had Rocket, and I think that's about it. War Machine, Don Cheadle.
Don Cheadle, by the way, he's not looking too good in this movie. He's looking sunken and thin and old. Did you see that as well?
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I guess I didn't really notice, but now that you say that, yeah, I can kind of see that.
And one more thing on appearances, Scarlett Johansson with the blonde hair. Speaking of looking old, I thought that was maybe not such a good choice.
Yeah, that was a little weird. Yeah, especially like her eyebrows were dyed too. It was what's going on with that?
Hey, you're beautiful, but you're not 25 anymore.
Yeah. But yeah, it does take away from the emotional moment there.
Yeah,
but, how about Peter Parker? Tom Holland when Spider-Man was going away. That performance there, just even though I knew he was going to come back in some way, it was an outstanding performance right there. It kind of breaks your heart seeing him as he's saying he doesn't want to go, and he just kind of floats away. And
for him and Tony, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because Tony kind of brought this kid into this, and here he is, floating away right in front of him.
And I think that one was extended the longest of all of them. Most characters just sort of floated away into ash in general, and Spider-Man took a long time there. Basically, kind of died in Tony's arms.
Right. Yeah.
That was rough. And then there's a bit there before that with Spider-Man when Tony gets him that new suit when they're flying up into space on that ship.
Right.
That was cool too. He's hanging on. There's definitely I don't know if this is the case. This was supposed to be the case, or this is normal or not. But Spider-Man is almost like a surrogate son of Iron Man.
Yeah.
Is that?
No. Yeah. I think that's definitely the vibe. I think we're supposed to get from it. Even because he's even talking about kids with Pepper Potts or Gwyneth Paltrow's character at the beginning. He's talking about are you pregnant? They're obviously thinking about that. Yeah. So I think that was. Now that I think about it, I think that was for this moment because it's he's like the son in his life, and obviously Peter doesn't have a father, so
great stuff. Quick question on that. Is so in Civil War, Tony Stark mentions to Peter Parker, you have an unusually attractive aunt. Any threat there to Pepper Potts?
I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. He seems pretty devoted to her. But
Okay. Because there was a bit there,
interesting question.
they're hanging out on the couch, she's eating the
Yeah, that's true.
meatloaf and all
That's true.
that. So I don't know if Tony
I
Stark is
mean, Tony's going to be Tony no matter what, no
Tony
matter
gonna
how
Tony.
tight Tony is. Tony's going to be Tony. But yeah, I mean, obviously we'll get to I want to go back to the beginning. But yeah, let's talk about the ending. I mean, for them to do, I mean, obviously we've already been talking about the ending, but yeah, for them to do that is outstanding to me. It's just
the good guys lose, the bad guy
yeah,
wins
the guys
in a
lose,
horrible
and the
way.
bad guy. The bad guy did exactly what he said he was going to do, and I'm gonna relax and watch the sunrise. And I just love that shot at the end with him just watching the sunrise with the little smirk on his face. Just, man, that's how they're going to end this movie. And I just love how, we're talking about the filmmaking and everything. When they're all start floating away, there's no score. You just hear the noise of them, turning to ash, and you just kind of hear the natural noises around them. There's no music. There's no score. It's just quiet. And it's just, thought that was a good touch, because it's just like the whole theater is just like so quiet, and it's like, what is going on? What is happening? I thought that was great. And then when he does snap the finger and he's kind of in that place and he sees the little Gamora, that's what I'm talking about, like art house stuff. It was just like very artsy and just like, what did it cost and everything. Such a great moment.
So that leads me to, I have one of two questions that just jotted down while you were talking. The first one is his real thoughts towards Gamora. Is this legitimate love? And,
yeah, absolutely. I think that's one of the reasons, why he just saw her when he snapped his finger.
Okay, so he's feeling emotional pain here in this process?
Yes.
Okay,
definitely.
Excellent. Second one was Doctor Strange. As they're preparing on Titan, when he goes through those 14 million iterations of possibilities, he said there's one where we win. And I guess they did the one where the one is where he gets all the stones. Is that possible? Where Doctor Strange gives up his stone? That's the one iteration.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I think this is part of. I think Strange knows that he has to give that stone in order to still win. I think he knows that the outcome. Because obviously they're going to be brought back somehow.
Yeah. Right. Well,
because they wiped out all the Guardians. They wiped out Black Panther, who just made Marvel $1 billion. Spider-Man, who's got a good future. Like on the business end of things, obviously they're not going to kill off these characters.
Okay, so but that's so
I mean, I think it has something to do with the Time Stone and the Soul Stone. That's how they're going to bring people back.
I think that's exactly right. The Soul Stone, maybe whatever the payment is for Thanos on the Soul Stone has not been paid fully. Just being sad about Gamora dying is probably not enough, as we saw from Red Man from Captain America 1.
Red Skull, yep.
Red Skull, yeah, okay, yeah.
Red Man.
Yeah. Like, hey, I know you. So there wasn't enough there, and the movie showed me that. Okay, so the movie showed me, because I'm watching, I'm like, I don't know if I'm really getting enough. You get to rule the universe. In exchange, you throw your daughter over a cliff. You're kind of a psychopath here. So, I know you're sad,
right.
but is this really adequate enough? And so I would assume that bill is going to come due in the second movie.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, that's a good call. How they're actually going to do it. That's another question.
Okay, and Doctor Strange, yeah. Okay, so I guess the criticism now, as I'm thinking about it, is since all the stuff we talked about, knowing that there's going to be probably a play with the Soul Stone and certainly a play with the Time Stone, because all these characters are not going to die. I'm assuming in the second movie, someone's going to just get the Time Stone and bring all these people back to life, right? Am I wrong here? That was my.
I mean, I don't know. I don't. Yeah, I mean, I think they're gonna. I mean, yeah. When you write it on paper, it sounds, just like, oh, that's just what's gonna happen. But I'm sure, they're gonna do it in a cool way, as they always do.
Yeah.
Because
am I wrong?
Even when he did the Time Stone in Doctor Strange, I thought was cool when he just kept going back and back, driving that villain crazy. And then when Thanos did it just to bring back the Mind Stone after it was destroyed by Scarlet Witch.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You don't get much of it. the time stone is kind of a problem plot wise, right? Because
Yeah.
whoever holds it can just
Right.
go back constantly, right? I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know.
exactly.
It's not something you want to
Yeah,
abuse.
I think they need to set more rules for it in the plot, like what can actually be done, and
Yeah.
but I don't know. But it's still, yeah. Well, I mean, that's obviously looking ahead. That could be a potential, cop out or whatever.
So you didn't
But
have
yeah,
the same thoughts
I think
that
this
I had.
I think this movie as a whole, as Thanos' movie, is just what it's all about. I mean, him, winning. I mean, he did exactly what he said he was going to do. Either way, even if they go back in time and change the effects of it,
Yeah.
he did what he said he was going to do. He had a full arc and accomplished it.
Okay, so let me ask you this: Thanos' motivation is that the universe and all societies are overpopulated. We must kill half of all populations. Is this a reasonable? Is this a villain's twisted sense that we can identify with? Is this a little bit too far?
No, I mean, I think it's just, yeah, I mean, it's obviously too far to wipe out the population.
Well, is it relatable though? Because the best villains, you start questioning your own morality, sort of thing. I find myself not really sympathizing with his plan here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess what got me with it was, it made me think about it was how he said when he wiped out Gamora's planet, and he was talking to her about it, and how he said, everyone that's been born since I did that has had full bellies, and the planet's a paradise.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, he's got a point, and he wanted to do it to his planet, which was thriving, but ultimately it, found it, met its demise. Which
that was
we
probably
saw,
the strongest argument, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's for me where I got where he was coming from.
But it's still clearly wrong, right? To murder.
Yeah. I mean, that's why he's the bad guy. Yeah, exactly. Clearly, I do not think we should wipe out the population.
No, I understand, but I'm sort of just teasing out a motivation of a villain and misguide. Okay, so even Ultron, he was twisted, and you could understand why he was twisted, because he didn't really, that part of him that was flesh just couldn't quite reconcile with the part of his computer nature that wanted to eliminate all threats, who saw humans as a threat. Blah blah blah. I get that, but Thanos just wants to kill a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, again, I don't know. I just found he was so calm about it. I don't know. I think it was just Josh Brolin's performance.
It was really good. Yeah.
He just brought a calmness to it, and just was just like, this is how it has to be. But I mean, I don't know.
I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know if there's an. I mean, we're talking about a comic book movie, right? We don't need to. This isn't like a deep psychological study. I was just curious what your thoughts were here.
Yeah. What are your thoughts?
I think I can understand, like you said, part of the argument here where we have too many mouths to feed, and maybe the world is too big. I think in some ways our world is probably too big. There might be not enough mouths to feed. There might be not enough resources to go around. I get it. I do get it, actually. It actually makes a lot of sense. There's less open space. I was driving down the road, and I remarked to my wife at some cow pasture. I'm like, probably in 20 years we're gonna be like our parents and grandparents that said, "Oh, when I was at your age, I drove through here. It was all orange groves."
Yeah.
And that's probably that piece of land is probably going to be one day strip malls and subdivisions. So I can actually relate to the idea, or being opposed to, like, never-ending growth and that sort of thing. However, I don't want to kill half the population.
Right, exactly.
There must be some middle ground.
Well, I mean,
right?
as Thanos even said, he's the only one that's willing to do it. He has
the will. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
exactly.
He's willing to sacrifice himself to kill all these people.
Yeah, but how about that beginning? That opening scene, you learn who Thanos is, and they right away tell you how serious this guy is.
Oh yeah,
I loved the how it takes place basically right after Thor Ragnarok, and he's got all the people there, from Asgard. So cool.
Loki, we don't even actually. We see Loki in the beginning here, and he's presumed dead, right?
Yeah.
As far as we know.
He's dead. Yeah, I think everyone before he snapped his fingers. I think everyone who died before that will stay dead. So like Loki, Gamora, Heimdall, and Vision. I think they'll all be dead.
Oh wow, I was disappointed in Vision in this movie,
Yeah,
considering what I saw from him before.
I loved him in Ultron.
I know,
But,
and then you get like nothing from this guy.
yeah,
He seems almost all powerful, and then not at all in this movie.
I guess that might be another negative for me is just the Vision and Scarlet Witch stuff. Like, when we first see them and it's Paul Bettany without the Vision stuff. I don't know, that for me just didn't do much for me. But I know you don't like Captain America, but that entrance of Captain America in the shadows and
that was good. It was
staff,
that was nice.
Like that was kick ass. That was a hurrah moment. But yeah, that beginning where you get to meet Thanos and that Ebony Maw guy who I love that guy. He's like saying like, oh, you should feel privileged that you die at the hands of Thanos. That guy was cool. Squidward.
Yeah. No, he's like a wizard, and there's some heavy fighting going on with that guy. I mean, he's really hard to dispose of, right? Until the Spider-Man figures out the aliens reference to have him sucked out into the void of space.
Yeah, exactly.
One question I had for you before I forget.
Is this a critique episode, David, or is this just Ask Ben questions? Come on. All right, what's your question?
Critique. No, it's just this is real movie. I like to just ask you a question. What's the relationship with Hulk and Bruce Banner? What's going on here? Do we know?
The first time I saw it, I mean, so first of all, yeah, that's what I was going to get to. I like how Loki said, we have a Hulk. Love that boxing match, basically, with him and Thanos. That was really cool. Let him have his fun, and then he just body slams Hulk. He manhandles Hulk.
Right? Yeah, we're like, okay, Hulk's going to save us. We're good. Because so far, we've never seen anybody beat the Hulk other than the Iron Man Hulkbuster suit. And I mean, even then, it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, that takes a long time, right?
Yeah. So yeah, that was awesome. Like I said, it seemed like a boxing match at first with both of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean the whole Hulk. I was a little disappointed that we didn't get to see more Hulk, but I can understand it.
What's the answer here, though?
Why? I think it's just them saying that Hulk is afraid of Thanos. He got his ass handed to him by Thanos, so the Hulk doesn't want to come out. I think that's the simple answer. The first time I saw it, I didn't realize it, and then I saw a couple of things online of people saying that, and it's like, okay, that makes more sense. But I was still disappointed that we didn't get to see more of him.
I mean, the Hulk's afraid. I mean, he shouldn't be afraid of anything, right? Even if he knows.
He's never lost before. He's never lost before. But
he lost sort of to Thor, right, in Ragnarok. Yeah,
I guess so. But I don't know, not in this caliber.
Can we talk a minute about Thor? How amazing!
Oh my God! I mean, I think Thor, outside of Thanos, I think Thor has the best story in this movie.
It's amazing.
It's just so good. Yeah. What do you want to say about Thor?
Well, he gets an eye back. He just goes through. He
gets an eye back.
Well, he does. I didn't like the eye patch or whatever the eye thing. I thought that was unbefitting of a god.
It's true.
And then he's with Guardians of the Galaxy. He's dealing with Peter Quill. As you mentioned earlier,
chemistry with them. Like
he's
the back
mocking him
between them.
And then he's got to go.
He's trying to imitate my voice.
I don't want to even do it because I can't do it. But yeah, it was great. And then he's got to. He lost his. He doesn't have his hammer. He's been somewhat humiliated, right? And he's got to find his way back to this dwarf planet. I don't even remember the name of it. And we get Peter Dinklage here as a massive dwarf. How else do I call him?
Yeah, I was actually caught by surprise with that. I knew he was going to be in it, but I was caught by surprise that he was a giant.
Right.
But they were still calling him a dwarf.
Exactly. His hammer was made, but this is actually, I think this must be a Lord of the Rings reference, because in Lord of the Rings, the dwarves are the best smiths and makers of things.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's a nod to that. But anyway, we end up on this planet of where the hammer comes from, and he's going to go back to get it or something, right? Is that correct?
Right.
And then, but the planet is dead, so he's got to restart the furnace, which is the whole smelting operation.
It's a star, which I didn't. catch the reference until after, but in Thor Ragnarok, I watched it after seeing this again. He like says to when he's imprisoned at the Jeff Goldblum place, says how his hammers was powered by a star. He basically references how his hammer was made, and it's exactly how that axe was made in Infinity War. And
interesting.
Like, look at that cool callback.
5-second detour on 5-second detour on Jeff Goldblum and Thor Ragnarok. What?
Yeah. So great.
Please,
oh my God, so hilarious.
That's my detour. It's hilarious. It's just out of this world, just insane. It's
Yes.
really all I can say. I remember texting you like, I don't know what I'm watching here, but I'm loving it.
Exactly. Yeah, Thor Ragnarok is one of my favorite MCU movies now. It's just so good, so fun. It's fun. I think that's the key word for that movie. Is it's fun.
I had a lot. Of fun.
Fun. So much fun with that movie.
So Thor needs a weapon and gets Peter.
Yep.
Now he needs to what? I just love. He's just willing to sacrifice himself. Right? They're like, this is going to kill you if we.
Yeah.
If we shoot the star through this.
I like how he says this.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, and I like how he says, with this will kill you, and he says, only if I die. And Peter Dinklage like, yeah, that's what killing you means.
It's like, yeah.
Like the even in like serious moments, they're still joking, but it doesn't feel forced, like Age of Ultron sometimes felt.
Yes.
But the humor in this is just amazing.
It's brilliant. He's willing to withstand basically the power of a dying star to restart this whole thing on this planet. And he does. He withstands it, and he gets this really awesome weapon. It's like
so cool.
It's like a pickaxe or something. Like
it's Stormbreaker. It's called. But basically an axe. But yeah, when he lands on Wakanda with Groot and Raccoon, that is such a hurrah moment. Oh my God, that is just that. At that moment, I was like, "Yep, Thor's my favorite character now." That was just
I
amazing.
think the only time I like openly cheered, like really felt a cheer there, because he's awesome. I'm with you so much. I would I love Thor.
Yeah, so awesome. Such a hurrah moment. And then he ultimately does, get his with Thanos. He's able to, he basically pierces through Thanos' chest, but you should have went for the head.
Yeah,
should have went for the head. And that's what I love about this movie.
I don't know. I actually had a problem with that.
Well,
I mean, what now? So what?
You didn't like that line?
No, I mean, I don't know. The heart is no better than that. I mean, I don't know. I thought that was a little bit of cheese there. I mean,
if he went for the head, he would die immediately.
Okay, well, I mean, why not go for the head every time? I guess then, if that's the case, or what's wrong? He doesn't have a heart. Like I don't get it.
I don't know. I think you might be reading a little bit too far into it, but but again, Thor basically gets his. He almost beats down Thanos, and then it's and then everybody goes bye-bye. It's crazy. And there was one more thing I was going to say with Thor, but anyway.
That was basically like
it's
the
just
last gasp. He kind of comes out of nowhere, and you think maybe, in another movie, if this was maybe the part one or the only one, if not a two-parter, that might have been the end, and Thanos might have died there. But
I think that's what I was going to say. Yeah, I mean, every time you think you have a one-up on Thanos, he just, comes, he's like, no. Because that's where, these movies can fall into a trap with the typical villain, like especially when the Mind Stone was destroyed off Vision.
Yeah.
Like, typically the, villain could have went crazy, like so mad, and then realized, he had the Time Stone or whatever, whereas Thanos is just so calm about it. He just goes up to Scarlet Witch and just like, I know what it's like to fail, or whatever he says to her. It's just crazy that, this basically, it's almost like we should be rooting for Thanos in this movie because he wins and the heroes win. And that's not the case with this movie. And I just love that they kind of, I mean, yes, they're going to bring him back, but I still feel like they, it's cool that they had the balls to, finish it like this and all that. But
I agree with all of that. I think it's fantastic. I mean, even though I have my marks, I'm like, okay, I can kind of see going forward. This is the Avengers aren't going to all die and lose. I understand that, but this pushed it as far as they can push it. I think.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's like where do they go after, especially after the next part? It's just like who's gonna, what threat do they really have after this? So that's why I love that we have always had these first 10 years of movies, and this is kind of like the grand finale of all these movies. I've said it before, but this, really, this movie and obviously, part 2 will be like the grand finale of all these movies, and it's just like if all the movies suck after it, doesn't matter. We still have these 10 movies to look back on, or 10 years of movies to look back on, and always enjoy them. So
yeah, absolutely. They all are a thread of a common larger thread. They all connect in their own ways, and they fit kind of perfectly. I mean, none of them really deviate out of it. They interact within that same universe. They're all well planned. You don't have any rogue movies really. So yeah, I mean, it's a credit to the studio and the direction, especially on this movie. The direction on this is great. I mean, there's some latitude given, I think, to the directors on this to let them go make a movie, go make a film, which has been missing, I think.
And it just sucks that sometimes they say lines like "you should have went for the head," That's,
yeah, exactly, right. I mean, Christ, man,
so
I hit
stupid.
you with my newly forged axe right in the freaking heart. And your response is, "You should have hit me in the head, and I'm gonna escape." All right, okay.
You know?
All right, we'll see you next movie.
He's all powerful. Has the Infinity Gauntlet.
Okay.
But you do agree that last shot is amazing with him sitting watching that sunrise.
Oh yeah, it's great. Great stuff. Absolutely. I mean, look, it's a comic book movie. I've got little quips and things like that, but
Right.
in general, it's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I passed this movie. Spoilers. I had to urinate so much. I think we touched on this. Did we talk about what happened here in the?
Oh yeah,
credits?
we didn't talk about the credit scene. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me what happened because I didn't see it.
Because you had to urinate.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically, Samuel Jackson, whatever his name is, Nick Fury. He's riding with the chick from How I Met Your Mother.
Colby Smulders.
Thank you. He's riding with her, and they're trying to get a hold of Stark, and then all of a sudden, this car crashes right in front of them. They go to the car, and there's no one in there. So it's probably, and then you all of a sudden see a helicopter crash into the sky. You realize that all these people are vanishing. Then Colby Smulders vanishes right in front of Samuel Jackson. He's like, "What the F is going on?" He grabs something out of his bag. Almost looks like a beeper. And he's like trying to call. And then he notices himself starting to fade away into ash. And then and they throw in he's like, "Oh, mother." And then as soon as right when he's about to say it, they make him go to ash. So it's like Samuel Jackson gets his classic mother line. And then he drops his beeper, and then you start, the camera pans down to the beeper, and then you see a logo, which is essentially Captain Marvel's logo, which will be a movie in March of next year, right before part 2 of this movie.
Who's playing Captain Marvel, Ben?
That would be Brie Larson. Room, which I know you're not a fan of.
Well, she's fine, but when you described it to me, I'm like, that's the answer?
Yeah. I'm still not that excited for her, but okay. She will have connections, I think, with Guardians of the Galaxy.
What is her power?
Because this is I don't really know. I know she flies. She has powers from like another planet, from the Guardians universe.
And what was she doing? What was she up to while all these things were happening?
We don't know because her movie is actually the movie coming out in March takes place in the 90s. And it's actually going to have Samuel Jackson in it, Nick Fury before he lost his eye and stuff. It takes place in the 90s, and it's going to have Ronan the Accuser in it, who is the main villain in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, okay.
So it's got him in it. Other than that, I don't really know much about it. I'm not too excited about it, but now that it's connected with Infinity War, it's definitely got me more intrigued.
Wait, the guy with the whistle thing?
The whistle thing? What whistle thing?
Is that the character Ronan? Is he the one with when he whistles and that thing? It's like
No, that's Yondu.
Oh, okay.
That was
Which
Michael.
one's Ronan then?
He had the big thing. He was trying to get that Power Stone, the purple one, and he finally got it.
Gotcha.
He was the main villain, in Guardians.
Gotcha.
But yeah, the credit scene is basically, kind of gets me more intrigued for that movie. But we'll see when we see trailers and stuff.
So does that tell us that Captain Marvel is going to save the day in Part 2 movie, or is this not at all related?
I think it's more, somewhat, or it's just a fact that there's somewhat. I think it's a tease to that movie coming out before this next movie. So
Gotcha.
I don't know. I don't really know the details stuff.
Well, as those details come out, we will be sure to inform all of you.
On Blockbuster Mentality. How would you rate this movie, Dave?
I did not write a rating down. This is tough because
it's okay. Use your head.
I will use my head. Off the top of my head, this isn't a real film per se, but it gets really close. So I'm gonna give it 3.5 stars, and I'm just gonna throw it out there. I'm gonna give it 5 buckets of popcorn.
Man, that is almost identical to me. Yeah, I give it 4 stars and 5 buckets of popcorn. I thought I was going to be the one to give 5 buckets, but I'm glad you did too. I think that's your first 5 out of either stars or buckets.
Yeah,
on the show.
I think so too. Well, I gave 5. Did I give 5 to Dunkirk? I'm not sure, but no, probably not. I don't know.
Oh, maybe you did. Yeah,
but no,
probably
popcorn
not.
wise,
That doesn't sound like you.
No, I hate everything. So, but yeah, I mean, 3.5. I think 4 is maybe a little high because you're getting into art movie. But yeah, I mean, it's so entertaining and the story is so tight. This is again like the thing that we praised Joss Whedon for the first Avengers is I think exceeded in this movie, bringing all these characters together. Now, Joss Whedon didn't let the whole thing die and blow up and turn in terrible. The Russo brothers almost make something. They do more than just bring it together and not let it die. They make something great with it, I think. Yeah,
I totally agree. I mean, it's just amazing how good this movie ended up being. Obviously they had if this movie was bad, they would have not been happy with themselves over Marvel. But I mean, it's a 10-year build up. They are very organized over there at the MCU.
For sure.
It doesn't seem like Star Wars is doing that. Same company with Disney, but it's just like, they could, basically any studio can take a page from Marvel's book and just see, how you make these huge movies like this. It's incredible. But
this one could have stunk, or it could have just been a generic popcorn movie, and it actually wasn't. It really exceeded my expectations. You send me just real quick before we end here. We're bumping up on an hour now, but
oh wow.
You said Solo you're worried about. Now I saw the trailer for this, and I don't know that I'm worried. I think this one might actually turn out to be a good movie.
I mean, I hope so. I'm kind of glad I'm feeling like this, though, just because, again, it's the typical, when you're not excited about a movie and aren't expecting much, those are usually the movies that are great to you. So
I don't know what the hell. The story doesn't seem all that good, but the action looks pretty good.
I mean, the action-wise, I'm sure it'll be great, as with any Star Wars movie.
Story-wise, though, I'm not getting much from the trailer, so maybe there's more under there. I don't know. We'll see.
And I'm still not sold on this Alden Ehrenreich. I mean, obviously, we've only seen a couple clips of him. I mean, he doesn't have to sound like Solo. He doesn't have to look like him. So I'm not one of those who thinks that has to be. I'm not sold on him yet.
But I got to say, though, I mean, he's doing a Harrison Ford impersonation in these, at least in the trailer scenes. And it's not bad, but he's doing it. He's not being his own guy. He's definitely doing. I mean, do you agree? He's doing a Harrison Ford here, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely getting his expressions and just his way about him. It's just, I don't know. I'm sure once I'm sitting in the theater, my excitement will be off the charts. It's just as of now, because that's how it kind of was with Rogue One. I wasn't, too excited up until I was sitting in my seat for Rogue One. So
that one blew me away.
Yeah, Rogue One. Whew, it was great. So hopefully Han Solo has something along those lines too. So
yep, absolutely. We're looking forward to that. That's coming out towards the end of the month. I think it looks like 23 weeks away from that.
We have Deadpool coming out before that too.
Oh yeah. So looking forward to that and all the difference between the Fox Marvel versus the Disney Marvel. Exactly. Oh my God, kill me.
And we have Josh Brolin again in that as Cable.
Yeah, you assured me there's no problem there. Okay, well,
no problem. Don't worry.
Okay.
They even referenced Thanos in the trailer.
Oh yeah, I know. I saw that. Yeah, so we're looking forward to both of those movies. But Infinity War, good stuff.
Yeah.
really blown away by this movie. Again, I just saw it tonight, and I'm thinking about it. I'm really liking it. I love really everything about it, honestly. Other than it's a little long, and it's an action movie, so it's not perfect. But wow, good stuff. Really impressed by it.
Great. Glad you liked it. So, all right, folks. I think that's it for us.
Absolutely.
That was our review of Infinity War, kind of a bonus episode here. And be sure to check out our show on Monday. We got Logan coming for you.
Another great movie.
Our 100th episode coming up soon.
Woo-hoo!
So
we've got a celebration.
You know it. All right. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at BlockbusterCast. Follow us our personal accounts. I am at BCCord.
I'm at Dave_Quist.
And subscribe to us on YouTube, iTunes, all that jazz. Got anything else, Dave?
I've got nothing else. This was great. We did a nice little remote here. We're going to throw this up on YouTube, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this little bonus content.
Yes, sir. All right, folks. Well, that is it for us. For Davo, I'm Ben Secord, and as always, grab some popcorn, grab some snacks. We'll catch you guys.
Yeah, that movies.